Hey guys, this is HerO from Difference in Skill, bringing you Oracle Think Tank 101 Episode 2. This episode is going to focus on Tsukuyomi, what to run, what the cards do, and what will be being replaced as of Set 1 and 2, Oracle Think Tank. I'll also be teaching you guys how the deck works, the general playstyle of it, the mentality, and what it takes to be able to run it successfully. So here we go. I'm going to start off with the Tsukuyomi lineup itself. We have Godhawk Ichibiyoshi. This card is a starting Vanguard, 5k power, nothing special. Its only effect is at the beginning of your ride phase, you check the top 5, and you get to superior ride this card if it's there. Crescent Moon Tsukuyomi, 7k power, which is huge for a grade 1, as it's the first 7k booster that Oracle Think Tank gets, which is really necessary because we get a bunch of 9ks as well in Oracle Guardian Red Eye, which I'll talk about in a little bit, and Half Moon Tsukuyomi. So she's really necessary to get to those magic numbers. 7k power is just such a big boost for Oracle Think Tank. So then she also checks the top 5 cards of the deck to search for Half Moon Goddess Tsukuyomi. When you ride her and you have the grade 1 in your soul, you can soul charge 2 cards, which is huge because you absolutely need to get this ride chain, the grade 2 ride off, because the grade 3 Tsukuyomi, Full Moon, requires 6 or more cards in the soul to be able to use her ability. So if you don't get the grade 2 ride off, it's going to be really tough to be able to get 2 additional soul than you already have to be able to use Tsukuyomi's ability. So yeah, the grade 2 ride is the most important ride. So if you ever draw, if your opening hand has a grade 2 and you're gonna mull it, don't even think about it. You need this card in your hand. You need to get the ride off. So then we have the grade 3 Tsukuyomi, of course, 11k power. If the other 2 pieces are not in the soul, then she loses 2000 power. If she has 6 or more cards in the soul, you can counterblast 2 to draw 2 cards and then soul charge 1. So it's a +1 overall, spammable as well, so you can use it whenever you like, and really helps with the winning image of that the deck has of stacking triggers, which I'll talk about in a few. So yeah, really good card, 11k Vanguard, and really useful ability. So that's the ride chain itself. Next we have 2 more cards that are going to be really useful, and that also come out in set 3. We have Oracle Guardian Red Eye and Oracle Guardian Blue Eye. Now Oracle Guardian Red Eye is an extremely useful card because once you get all the rides off from Tsukuyomi, you are still 1 soul short in order to have that 6 that you need. So that's where Oracle Guardian Red Eye comes in. Oracle Guardian Red Eye is when an attack hits, you can soul charge 1. So obviously very useful, and your opponent will most likely want to guard this. So you'll also be forcing more cards out of their hand. And if they don't guard it, then you can just soul charge it, and then you have that 6 soul that you need. Some people are like, oh, I can use Psychic Bird to get that 6 soul. That's true. Psychic Bird is really the easiest way to get that 6 soul. But trust me when I speak from experience that when I say this is that you will not always have a Psychic Bird. Red Eye is really necessary in order to get that 6 soul. I've ran both 3 and 4 of this card in the deck. I'm leaning towards 4 because it just comes up so often, and when it comes down to it, I'm either forcing more cards out of my opponent's hand or I'm getting that soul that I need. So Red Eye, really good. In my opinion, it is mandatory to run at least 2, but more highly recommended 3 or 4. Next we have Blue Eye, Oracle Guardian Blue Eye. What this card does is 5000 power, but when it boosts, only when it boosts, it doesn't need to hit. When it boosts and you have 6 or more cards in your soul, you can draw a card and put 1 card from your hand at the bottom of the deck. So that's extremely useful in the winning image that the deck has of stacking triggers, cycling through your deck to get that stack of triggers that you set up when you were searching for the Tsukuyomis. So that's really good, and I'll be talking a bit more about this card, comparing it to Coco in a little bit. But for now, I'm going to explain how the deck works. So here I have my friend's Japanese deck, has some set 5 cards, so ignore those. If I don't talk about them, then they're not in set 3. So here we have cards. Here's the deck. Hold on, I'm going to look for the starting Vanguard because I shuffled it back in. So the way the deck runs is that through the stacks that you create, through the 5 cards that you reveal, when you search for the Tsukuyomi, you stack the triggers to the top of the stack. Now I'm gonna give you a bit of a sample of how it works. So let's say it's my first turn, so I draw for turn, and I have got Ichibiyoshi, so I'm searching for the grade 1. So let's say I reveal a critical trigger, a heal trigger, let's see, the grade 1 Tsukuyomi, let's see, red eye, and a perfect guard. Let's say this is what I reveal when I search for the grade 1 Tsukuyomi. Okay? So I'm going to do is, obviously, I'm going to take the grade 1 Tsukuyomi and I'm going to ride it. And then I'm going to put the heal trigger and the critical trigger at the top of the stack. So when I put it back to the bottom of the deck, the heal trigger and the critical trigger are going to be at the top of the stack. So this is 4 cards. So I'm going to put those 4 cards at the bottom of the deck. Down they go. Okay, so next turn I'm going to search for the grade 2 Tsukuyomi. So let's say I get the grade 2 Tsukuyomi, a critical trigger, a draw trigger, a grade 1 Tsukuyomi, and a blue eye. Okay, so let's take a look. Okay, so this is what I reveal for the grade 2 check. So, okay, great. I got the grade 2. That's really, really good. That's really, really important. So I soul charge 2 cards. Oh no, the grade 3. And then I look at the cards that I have left. I have a critical trigger, a draw trigger, a crescent moon, and an Oracle Guardian Blue Eye. So I'm going to stack the critical trigger first. Well, you can put the draw trigger first, but I prefer to put the critical trigger first. Critical trigger first, then the draw trigger, and then the card that you're going to draw, which in this case will be, I'm going to put Blue Eye because I feel like it. And those cards will be at the top of the stack. So I'm going to put it, once again, at the bottom of my deck. So then next turn, I search for the grade 3. Let's say I get a critical trigger, Coco, another Blue Eye. Oh no, I'm just destroying the stack of triggers that I just created. Okay, whatever. A heal trigger and the grade 3. So let's say this is what I reveal. Awesome. Okay, I get to ride the grade 3. Awesome. And I have these cards left. So I'm going to put the heal trigger. I put the heal triggers first for the fact that if I'm in trouble in the late game, I want to have that heal trigger available to me as soon as possible. You can put it second, but that difference may end up costing you the game. Where you're at the top of your stack and it's their turn and you're at 5 damage, because you put the critical trigger first, you're going to damage check the critical trigger instead of the very useful heal trigger. So that's why I put heal triggers first. And then we have Blue Eye and Coco once again at the top of the stack, and I'm going to put that at the bottom of the deck. So the game goes on. You draw, you drive check, you draw, you drive check, you damage check, you use Tsukuyomi's effect to draw a bunch of cards, soul charge them. Let's say Red Eye soul charges as well, so that's more. Let's say Blue Eye allows you to cycle more cards. Blue Eye is a really good card. I really like Blue Eye. So let's say Blue Eye, every time you attack, you get to cycle 1 because you draw, and then you put a card at the bottom. So it reaches the point where you're at your stack of your triggers. So this is an extreme late game, obviously. So let's say we're here at our trigger stack. So that's my deck. It's a little dark. So that's the deck, and so not my stack. So I swing for 16, and then I drive check. So let's say my opponent only guards for minimum amounts. They only guard for 15. So then I drive check. The first card is a heal trigger. Oh, what a surprise. You knew it was there. So that's a heal trigger. You heal if you can. And then you add, obviously, all the power to the Vanguard because you know that the next card is a critical trigger. So the attack goes through and deal 2 damage. So, yeah. So the game goes on. Let's say they survive for some reason. Okay, so that's fine. Let's say, okay, so I stand. Now it's my turn. I survived as well because I'm good at this game. I draw. So I know that since I got the Tsukuyomi ride, I have 4 cards in my stack, the 2 triggers and the 2 non-triggers. I already checked the 2 triggers, and I just drew then one non-trigger. So I have 1 card left. Oh wait, Blue Eye. That's right. When I attack, I draw first, return something to the bottom of the deck, and then I drive check, which I know is a critical trigger and a draw trigger. And then you draw. So yeah, the whole winning image of the deck is reaching your stacks playing conservatively and passively throughout the game until you reach your stacks and are able to finish your opponent off basically in a one-turn kill. Now, obviously, because of the way the deck works, you don't want to play cards such as Silent Tom too quickly, because you want to save him for when you know that you have triggers coming up. If Silent Tom is boosted by Gemini, which it should be, right guys, and you attack with it, and it has the power of a trigger that you know is there already, then you'll be forcing 3 cards out of your opponent's hand. And if you have double critical, and they say they perfect guarded your Vanguard's attack, then you can put 1 critical trigger, the effects of 1 critical trigger, on each Tom. Let's say if you have 2, that means that they'll absolutely be forced to drop 6 cards from their hand. That's if they have any. So obviously for that reason, Silent Tom, you want to conserve him until the very late game, until you reach a critical stack. So now, what cards will be coming out from the current Oracle Think Tank decks to fit in the new cards? Here are 3 cards for the great ones. 3 cards that, well, I was going to be talking about these 2 first. Weather Girl Milk. She's coming out. The reason being is that some people are like, oh, but Tsukiyomi's 11k, but then I can swing for 21 alone with the Vanguard. That's true, but the thing about that is that it doesn't fit in with the winning image of the deck. The whole point of the deck is you want to reach your trigger stack, as soon as possible. Weather Girl Milk does not allow you to do that. It won't help you in any aspect in order to achieve that goal. Cards like Blue Eye, for example, absolutely do that. That's what they're for. They allow you to draw a card and put it at the bottom. Cycle 1 card every turn. So she's coming out. Luckbird. The only reason why we're running Luckbird right now is because A, we have no good use of Soul right now, and B, it's really the only other grade 1 that we can viably run. So Luckbird right now is decent, but obviously when Tsukiyomi comes out, you don't want to Soul Blast anything. You want to keep at least 6 Soul. So Luckbird will be going against our winning image. Not only that, sure, it's 5,000 power, but yeah, that's bad. You don't want 5,000 power. I mean, Blue Eye is acceptable because your your Vanguard is going to be 11k, and that swings for 16. Now you could say the same thing about Luckbird, but once again, it's going completely against the winning image of the deck. So that's why Luckbird is coming out. The last card that I'm personally taking out, but I don't know, so I don't think a lot of you will, or maybe some of you will, is Coco. The reason why I'm taking out Coco is because the role that she provides in cycling cards, checking the top, putting it to the bottom, or keeping it at the top, I think Blue Eye provides that better. Coco, the way Coco works, it's a one-time thing. So, I mean, the whole point of the deck, once again, is to get to your stack of triggers. Coco, it kind of helps you do that, but Blue Eye does it better. Blue Eye does it a lot better, because you can do it every turn. So, yeah, I mean, 6k and 5k, right, in the deck, make no difference. They make no difference. 6k and 5k, you're not going to be running any 10k vanillas, and I'll be talking about that in a little bit. But, so yeah, 15 and 16 make no difference. So, I mean, it is a huge difference. 15 and 16 is a huge difference, but you're not going to be running 10k vanillas anyways. So there's nothing that needs a 6k boost. So that's why Blue Eye I think is better, and which is the reason why Coco will be coming out once Set 3 comes out for me. The Great 2s, we have 3 cards that will be coming out. We have Oracle Guardian Wiseman, picking up on the 10k vanilla thing. The reason why you don't need Oracle Guardian Wiseman anymore is because you have the 7k booster now in Tsukiyomi. This guy was needed because all we had are 6ks or 8ks, but those are obviously being used by Toms and Guardians if you run them. So the reason why this guy was needed is because of all the 6k boosts in Coco, Milk, etc. So now that we have the 7k, we don't need him anymore. Now that we have an 11k Vanguard, we don't need him anymore. So he's gone. Mocha, once again, Mocha was there only because we had poor boosters. We only had 6Ks and 5Ks. But now, once again, the Tsukiyomi has come along and fixed that for us. Mocha is not necessary anymore. Security Guardian. I mean, he's 8K, grade 2, superior intercept, that's great and all, but very subpar card, especially in this deck. So once again, he's not necessary anymore. What will be coming in for these cards? Obviously, we're going to have in our grade 2 Tsukuyomi and Oracle Guardian Red Eye. That's not a Red Eye, that's a Red Eye. So these two cards are more imperative to the winning image that we have. So, in my opinion, the main grade 2s that you should be running once set 3 comes out are these three. Tsukuyomi, Red Eye, and Tom. Tom for the late game, Tsukuyomi and Red Eye for mid game, early game attackers, and to get that 6 soul, and that's it. That's all you need. Some people might be teching in cards, like keeping a Mocha or 2, I mean, that's fine. Or keeping a Wiseman or 2, I mean, that's fine. But generally, I see right now, Wiseman, we have no 6K boosters left. Tsukuyomi is 7K, Gemini is 8K, this thing is 5K, but this will be boosting your 11K Vanguard anyways. So there's no need for Wiseman, so that's why he's out. And yeah, and once again, the main grade 2s that you should be running are these three guys. Lastly, for the grade 3s, we have obviously Full Moon Tsukuyomi, the only new grade 3 that will be coming in, and I can't find her. There she is. Grade 3 Tsukuyomi. I'm going to be running 3 of these, and the card that's coming out is Oracle Guardian Apollo. The thing about the grade 3 Oracle Think Tank cards right now is that most of them are only good in the Vanguard circle. I mean, CEO, only good in the Vanguard circle. The thing about Tsukuyomi, though, is that she's 11K by herself. 11K in the rear guard is actually really good. So you want to have at least 3 of these, obviously, and then Oracle Guardian comes out, Paulon comes out. But people say, why not CEO? I mean, she's only good in the Vanguard circle. You just said it yourself. If you're going to be riding Tsukuyomi, why do you need her? Well, the thing about CEO is that if you miss a ride from Tsukuyomi, you don't want to ride her. You don't want to ride the grade 3 because she's only going to be 9K, and that's basically just asking to die. CEO makes a very good alternative Vanguard. If you miss a ride with Tsukuyomi, you can ride CEO with decent confidence and be like, okay, you know what? I'm not dead because I don't have to ride this when I missed a ride. I can ride this, Soul Charge. If you're lucky, you get the card that you were missing from the ride, and then you swing for 14, gets that 4K power boost. So she's still very decent. So the way I'm going to run it, I'm going to have 3 CEO, 3 Full Moon, and I'm going to have 1 Meteor Break Wizard. Meteor Break Wizard is the clone, the Boar's clone for Oracle Think Tank, where you counterblast 1 and it gains 3,000 power when it attacks. So Meteor Break Wizard, once again, is one of those cards that I'll be keeping until the late game. Once I'm at my stack of triggers, because I know I can swing behind a Gemini, I can swing for 21 by itself. So adding the power from the trigger that I know I'm going to be getting, swinging for 26 is a lot and requires a lot of cards to guard. So especially in the late game when they're at 4 or 5 damage and I have perhaps a critical trigger on it, it's going to take a lot to guard it. So that's why I only run 1 though. But yeah, 3 CEO, 3 Full Moon, and 1 Meteor Break Wizard is what I'll be running. Is 4 Full Moon necessary? I don't think 4 Full Moon is necessary. In fact, I think it's a little overkill. You'll be able to get the ride off generally. I mean, by the late game, by the time you need to ride a grade 3, you should either have one in your hand or you should get it with a ride. But in the case you don't, then you have the CEO as backup. And then once you get the Tsukuyomi, you can ride it just fine. So it's not that big of a deal. So yeah, those are the grade 3s. And that's it for this video. So that was Oracle Think Tank 101, episode 2. Tsukuyomi, very good deck. Requires memory, a good memory. Requires patience. Requires remembering what your triggers were. And requires a right winning image. The winning image is pretty simple in the deck. It's basically wait until my triggers and then I kill him. But before that, requires a lot of patience, a lot of memory. If you mess up, if you did a blue eye and you sent a card to the bottom and you forgot and you only counted, let's say, 12 cards instead of the 13 that is your stack, and you miss your drive, if you miss your turn drive, then you're in a bad position because you missed your double triggers, and that's the whole winning image. You miss that, and chances of winning are low. So passively, conservatively, intelligently is what it takes to win with this deck. So yeah, all these cards come out in set 3. I can't wait for it to come out. I'm really getting impatient. I think it's been not announced, but confirmed that it'll be coming out in July. Take that with a grain of salt though, because it's not been announced, but that's what I've heard. Set 3 English comes out in July. I can't wait. I'd like to thank everybody for subscribing. We're at 225 subs as of this moment, so I'm really, really glad. A lot of PMs saying thank you guys for helping me out. That's what we do. That's why we made this channel, to help you guys out, to help newer players out into this game that I definitely like. And yeah, check out my blog. Have a link in the description. I'll probably be writing. I'll be linking to an older article that I did on Tsukiyomi, which didn't get a lot of love because people are like, what's Tsukiyomi? But now that they know, now that I've made a video, you guys can read up on that as a follow-up to this video. So I'll also post a link that as well. Thank you guys for watching once again, and HerO's out.